Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, we'll get back to Iraq here in just a moment. I had released a video earlier from a professional financial advisor that used to work for Merrill Lynch. I thought it was entertaining, the things he was saying, because a lot of what he was saying was true, talking about the so-called gurus. As far as his reasoning is concerned when it comes to the Iraqi Dinar never revaluing, I don't agree with. So that's why after everything that he said that I didn't agree with, I explained in my opinion why he was wrong. But he was right when it comes to the gurus. You have to be very careful. There's a lot of people out there blowing smoke up people's butt. And I see this all the time. I'm trying to be grounded. I try to educate people as we go along. And that doesn't always go over well with people. I love when people say this all the time. Pimpy don't know what he's talking about. My favorite is, I talk to my friends and Pimpy is deep state. People to this day still think I'm deep state. The other thing is he's misinforming people. Yeah, I'm misinforming and I don't know what I'm talking about. So far, everything I ever talked about has been accurate. People say I'm too negative. Too negative, is that right? I guess they think I should be a totally different person and act like this.
You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yay! You know what that means? It's Revalue Wednesday. Every Wednesday, the Iraqi Dinar revalues. Yay!
How'd that come from? Yeah, everyone thinks I should be all chipper and everything and be something that I'm not. Look, I'm just going to be grounded. I'm going to tell you the truth. I told everybody why I'm this way. That's because you have people committing suicide over all the lies that these people are telling you out there. And you could tell you people love that puff. You love that hopium so much that when somebody like me comes along and says to slow your roll, it's not going to happen that way. Yeah, you get all pissy. So whatever. I'm not for everybody, but that's okay. I get it. People say, well, that's why I stopped listening to them. No, they ain't stopped listening. They still come and listen. Let's be honest. Anyways, Nader responded to the video. You guys know I dig Nader. So he wants to talk about getting together, do an interview. I think that'd be entertaining. So I'll reach out to Lisa. I believe I know which one he's talking about. And see if I can get his number and see if I can't get Nader aboard. But I've heard people talk negatively about the Iraqi Dinar several times. And I've went through and reviewed their videos and responded to it. What you find out is a lot of these professionals, their reason for why the Iraqi Dinar will never revalue are not real reasons. Those are reasons why the Iraqi Dinar has not revalued yet. But I've never heard a so-called professional come out and give a 100% reason why it's never, ever, ever going to happen. And that's why I took the time to respond to his comments on the video. Look, I agree with what he says about the other so-called gurus out there pumping hopium up people's butts and that they're not taking the time to educate people. And that's the honest to God truth. I complained about that a million times. It's up to the other content creators. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. I'm just saying that's the big difference between us. Having said all that, I'm looking forward to having Nader on. I think it'll be a lot of fun, to be quite honest with you. Anyways, let's get back to Iraq, shall we? So this is one of the things we don't want to see happening. The U.S. is bombing militia in Iraq. That's the first time they've ever had to bomb anything in Iraq in 2 years. So this isn't very good at all. U.S. gunship strike Iranbacked militia in Iraq after ballistic missile attacks. It's almost as if these militia people are purposely provoking the United States so that they could drag Iraq into this situation. And we don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping that Soudini continues to just be down the middle there and not get involved. U.S. strikes came in quick response to a ballistic missile attack on the air base and a sign that the United States military is taking matters into its own hands to defend its personnel in Iraq. Yeah, we let Iraq try to handle it themselves, and they haven't. So although this isn't a good thing, it's not out of whack yet. The U.S. strikes are the first to target Iran-backed militia in Iraq in nearly 2 years, suggesting a more aggressive posture in response to a significant escalation as the Pentagon seeks to prevent the fallout of Israel's war in Gaza from spreading to the other parts of the Middle East. And I hope that's exactly what they do. They prevent it from spreading. Suspected Iran-backed militia have launched more than 60 rockets and drone barrages targeting U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria amid the war, breaking more than 6 months of de facto ceasefires with American forces who remain in Iraq in an aftermath of the war against the Islamic State. So every time we talk about Syria, I always think about those little spirits out of the spirit box talking about a nuclear war starting from Syria. I've heard rumors many a times that there was a nuclear program being designed there and that the war was meant to keep people distracted while the program is being built. So I'm hoping it's not true, but we'll soon see. Barzani supports the election of the Speaker of the Parliament unanimously by majority representatives of the Sunni component. So Barzani is getting behind this election of his replacement, which is surprising to me in many ways. I really thought the United States was going to make a push to keep him in office, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm curious to see who they're going to select. The official spokeswoman for Barzani said Tuesday that Barzani supports the election of a new speaker for the Iraqi parliament. A statement given to the news said President Barzani supports the election of a new speaker for the Iraqi Council on Representatives with the consensus or approval of the majority of representatives of the Sunni component within the Iraqi Council of Representatives, as it is their right. This comes as the federal court issued a decision to terminate the membership of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Halabasi, against the backdrop of a lawsuit filed against him, Representative Dalami, on charges of forgery, which ended with the decision to terminate Halabasi's membership in Parliament. So hopefully we'll see the candidate here shortly. Chambers of Commerce implement initiative to expand the scope of centrally supported banks. The Federation of Chamber of Commerce announced on Tuesday the implementation of the initiatives to expand the scope of the banks supported by the central bank. The president of the union said in a press statement that the Federation of Chambers of Commerce have taken a good initiative by expanding the scope of banks supported by the central bank, which in turn operate correspondent banks with the international banks. He's explained that 5 banks have been supported, and now the number has increased to 10 banks, as well as 13 banks dealing in the currency of the Chinese yuan, in addition to 2 banks dealing in the UAE's dirhams, calling on banks to modernization and look towards major international banks. So yeah, they're definitely tying all central banks together. That's their main goal. That's the software that they're going to be using so they could do the central bank digital currency. So this is a big concern about Iraq. This is one of the concerns that I brought up. In 9 months, Iraq achieves 95 trillion dinars and a warning of global danger. The Iraqi Minister of Finance issued state accounts from January until last September for the fiscal year of 2023, which indicated that the volume of revenues in Iraq's budget amounted to more than 95 trillion dinars. And while the contributions of oil in the federal budget remain 95%, an economist warned of fluctuations in oil prices at the present time. So here you go, 95% of their budget is funded from oil sales. The issue is the fluctuations in the oil prices. If it gets too low, then Iraq runs a deficit and they have to sell their foreign asset reserves in order to cover that. We don't want that to happen. This is why when people say, oh, they got so much oil, that doesn't make a difference. It's the stability in the oil prices that make a difference in whether or not they sink or swim. The news agency followed up on the data and tables issued by the Ministry of Finance this November for the accounts of 9 months of 2023, which showed that oil is still the main resource for Iraqi's general budget, reaching 95%, which indicates that the rentier economy is the basis in Iraq's general budget. They rely way too much on oil prices. Back in 2019, when oil prices were really going up, and everybody's like, yeah, the oil prices will never go down. I said, don't say that. That's exactly what happened. Oil prices dropped ridiculously low, and it damn near bankrupt Iraq. They were forced to devalue their currency just to stay afloat. We don't want that to happen again. So you could go through here and it shows you the numbers and why this is an issue, and it's something that we already are aware of. When they started to do their budgets, I was complaining that I thought, in my opinion, $65 a barrel is what they budgeted for. I think it actually ended at $70 a barrel, which I thought was too high. So for his part, the economist, while speaking to the news, warned of volatility of the oil prices at the moment, expecting that it will fall further to reach $70, which affects Iraq's general budget. So for you people out there going, oh, they got so much oil, that doesn't make a difference. If you can't sell the oil at a certain price, then they end up running a deficit. We don't want that to happen. If it gets really out of control, then they're forced to devalue the Iraqi dinar. That's something we definitely don't want to happen. This is why they have to get their agriculture going. This is why they have to do fishery. This is why tourism has to increase. This is why those ports in fall have to hurry up and open. This is why the one road needs to hurry up and get built. This is why it's a good thing that they're opening currency swaps with other banks so they could do international trade. It says Iraq relies entirely on a rentier economy, leaving other economic sectors without development despite the access to financial savings. And it has become difficult at the present time to develop those sectors because the financial savings are used by Iraq, most of them to operating expenses without investment. These are making all the wrong decisions. The Prime Minister's advisor for financial affairs confirmed on March of 2021 that the reasons for the survival of the economy as rent is due to wars and imposition of siege during the past era, and what we are witnessing today from political conflict, led by the dispersal of economic resources, that and all the corruption and people stealing from the Iraqi people, crap like that. The continuation of the Iraqi state's dependence on oil as the sole source of the general budget makes Iraq at risk of global crises that occur from time to time because oil is affected by it. Every time to cover the deficit by borrowing from abroad or inside, which indicates the inability to manage state funds effectively and the inability to find alternative financing solutions. They have all the right puzzle pieces. You either have people who are in charge that don't know how to put a puzzle together, or you have people who are in charge that don't care to put the puzzle together. I hope that makes sense. That's the thing that frustrates people about Iraq. It's a lot like Zimbabwe. The corruption is so bad that it really affects the Iraqi people, not the people in politics. The politicians stay rich while the people stay poor. They just mismanage the money or they funnel it in illegal ways to themselves. It's really sad. But I have faith in Iraq and I have faith they'll come through, but they definitely need to start finding another form of revenue. Anyways, that's it for now. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.